Hello everyone, and welcome to the Philippine Market Wrap. This podcast is intended for general information and market commentary purpose only. It is not financial advice and does not recommend buying or selling of any financial products. Please make your own investment decisions responsibility. In today's episode, we will recap the Philippine market for the week of June 29 to July 3rd, 2026. It was a rare week where three major positive catalysts landed at once. The World Bank upgrading the Philippines to the upper middle income status, the formal IPO filing by GCash parent Mynt, and the US-Iran ceasefire agreement. The PSEi gained 1.91% on the week, the strongest weekly performance in recent months. In the second half, our feature covered the GCash vs Maya fintech IPO race in the Philippines. Let's get started. On Friday, July 3rd, 2026, the PSEi closed at 6,188.03, up 62.31 points, or 1.02% on the day. Compared with the previous Friday's close of 6,072.24, the index gained 115 points in the week, a rise of 1.91%. Here's how the week unfolded. Monday, up 1.01%. US-Iran ceasefire agreement drove sharply rally. Tuesday, down 1.57%. Profit-taking reversed nearly all of the Monday's gain. Wednesday, up 0.53%. Bargain hunter stepped back in. Thursday, up 0.93%. The World Bank's UMIC upgrade lifted sentiment. Friday, up 1.02%. Continued buying supported by lower oil prices. It wasn't a straight line up. The market swung between gains and losses, but the net result was a solid positive week. The biggest headline of the week. On July 1st, World Bank reclassified the Philippines from the low middle income to upper middle income status. In shorthand, the Philippines now the UMIC. This is the first time Philippines has a changed income classification since 1987, roughly 40 years. The country gross national income per capita reached for $4,850 in 2025, crossing the UMIC threshold of $4,636. The World Bank cited average GDP growth of 5.8% over the past 3 years, describing it as the best economic advancement, not a boom in any single sector. The upgrade has practical implications on both sides. On the positive side, it can enhance sovereign credit worthiness and improve foreign investors' confidence. On the other hand, it may lead to reduced access to concessional lending and potential loss of certain trade preference. The market responded positively, with the PSEi rising in both Tuesday and Friday following the announcement. The second major story is the formal IPO filing by Mynt, the parent company of GCash. On June 27, Mynt submitted its registration statements in the Philippine SEC and filed the listings application with the PSE main board. The target listing date is the fourth quarter of 2026. The offering could be raised to the 92.3 billion pesos, approximately 1.5 billion US dollar. If completed, it will be the largest IPO in the Philippine history, surpassing the Monday Shin's 48.6 billion pesos in 2021. The implied market capitalization is roughly 8 billion US dollar. Joint global coordinators Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and UBS Singapore. To put GCash to scale in context, 2025 figures show 39.1 million monthly active users, 56.7 million average daily transactions, 17 trillion pesos in annual gross transaction value, and net income 17.2 billion pesos for Mynt. For Globe Telecom shareholders and I hold GLO portfolio. This is significant because GCash listings would surface the value that has been embedded within the global stock price. The third catalyst was the reported ceasefire between the United States and Iran. An agreement to halt retaliatory strikes with a peace talk set to follow Doha, Qatar, drove Monday's rally of over 1%. For months, the Middle East situation has been the persistent headwind for the Philippine market, primarily through the elevated oil price. The ceasefire has contributed to lower crude price, which is meaningfully positive for the Philippines as a net energy importer. However, Tuesday's sharp pullback of 1.7% suggested the market is not yet confident that the ceasefire will lead to lasting peace. And a few more stories worth noting this week. Globe Telecom received regulatory approval to roll out direct mobile satellite communication with Elon Musk Starlink, making it the first Philippine telco to do so. This could extend connectivity to remote islands and underserved areas. The BSP projects June headline inflation at 6 to 7%, with declining oil and food prices moderating factors. BPI made InstaPay and PesoNet transfers permanently free starting July 1st, a move that reflects the competitive pressure from the digital wallet. And Philippine exports rose 16.1% year-on-year in May, reaching $21.23 billion. Now, for our future, with Mynt's IPO feeling confirmed, let's step back to look at the bigger picture. Both of the Philippine dominant fintech platforms are heading for the IPO in 2026. GCash, operated by the Mynt under Globe Telecom, is targeting the PSEi listings Q4. Maya, formerly PayMaya, backed by the PLDT, KKR, and Tencent, is targeting as a dual listing in a US exchange and PSE in Q3. Together, these two platforms control over the 95% of the Philippine mobile wallet market. In terms of scale, GCash reached visibly 94 million registered users versus Maya's 50 million. In advance payment, everyday payments, and peer-to-peer transfer, GCash is the default choice of most Filipinos. But Maya competes on different axes. Financial depth. Maya holds a digital banking license from the BSP, which means it can offer saving accounts, personal loans, stock trading, and cryptocurrencies, all within one app. Having used both, I can say that the range of financial services available in Maya is generally broader. GCash strengthens reach. Maya strengthens depth. The IPO valuations reflect on the difference. GCash is targeting the $80 billion valuation. Maya is looking at the $500 million, $1 billion. If both IPOs go through this year, it will be the most significant fintech listing event in the Southeast Asian history. Three things I'll be watching. 1. Whether the PSEi can push above 6,200. Friday's close at 600-188 puts in within striking distance. 2. The Doha peace talks between the US and Iran. The durabilities of the ceasefire will affect oil prices and, by extension, Philippine inflation and market sentiment. 3. The official release of June inflation data. The BSP is forecasting 6 to 7%. The actual number could influence the central bank's rate path going forward. To wrap up, 3 takeaways. 1. The PSEi gained 1.91% on the week, lifted a rare convergence of 3 positive catalysts: the UMIC upgrade, GCash IPO filling, and Iran-US ceasefire. 2. Mynt has formally filled listing GCash and PSE targeting the largest IPO in Philippine history. Rival Maya is also planning a dual US PSE listing in the same year. 3. The World Bank's upgrade of the Philippine upper middle income status in a milestone that improves investor confidence, but also comes with long-term trade-offs in age and trade preference. Thank you for tuning. See you again next time on the Philippine Market Wrap. Salamat kayo. Amping.